Hey, thanks for joining us on the Eat Crunchy podcast. We are three sisters on a journey towards healthy lives using Weight Watchers to get there. We'd love to hear about your journey as well on our Facebook page or at eatcrunchy.com.
Hi everyone, this is Eat Crunchy, and today you've got just Heidi. As you may have noticed, we've had a couple of weeks where there haven't been all three of us. And by all three of us, I mean we haven't had a podcast. And we were realizing that having a podcast with all three of us is really hard sometimes, that sometimes our schedules just don't align. And so we're taking a stab at having a podcast with just one of us, or two of us now and again, and doing what we can to have all three of us, but if there isn't an opportunity, just taking the time to do it individually or with just two of us. So I am finishing up a trip at Walmart, and I figured that on my way home there was some silence in my car that I would do a little podcast and talk to everybody. Gosh, losing weight is hard. Losing weight is so hard, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck in a part of the journey that just sucks to be in. I feel like I've been battling the last 6 weeks with the same stupid 5 pounds. And it's all me. None of it's the diet. None of it's my body. It's all me and my mental game. That, 1 or 2 weeks I'm doing really good. I'm killing it. I lose 5 pounds. I'm like, awesome. And then I totally, self-sabotage and destroy all the progress that I made. And I gain the 5 pounds back again. And it's really frustrating to be fighting these same stupid pounds over and over again. So I actually, I started the day really great and I ended it really poorly. And I don't know what it is about making bad choices, but I felt that I could share it with you. Because I feel like I'd hit a low in terms of the weight loss journey. So I've been having a really frustrating day, and I was still making good choices. I really wanted something sweet today, and I ate like a pound of cherries, and I didn't feel bad about it. It was much better than an alternative, and that's what I was munching on throughout the day as I was working today. And I ran to Walmart just now because I was getting some supplies for my kiddos, and I was like, I'm hungry. I legitimately am hungry. Even though I've already had dinner, I'm legitimately hungry. And I really just want something sweet. So I kind of wandered around the store trying to figure out what I was going to have. And I ended up buying two of those little, I don't know if you guys have seen them, but they're mozzarella sticks with prosciutto wrapped around them. I think they're about 2 points each. And I was like, that's protein. It'll fill me. And I love it because it's super salty. And I was like, well, what am I going to get for sweet? And I thought, well, I could probably get like just one individual Lindt truffle because they're 3 points each. So I was thinking, well, I'll get myself a Lindt truffle. But then I walked by the cupcake area. I'm not sure why, because I clearly should know I shouldn't buy anything from the cupcake area. It was probably because Walmart had a lot of sales today, and so I was just wandering everywhere, seeing like, where are all the sales? Where are all the markdowns? Because they had some serious clearance. I mean, I got some of my boys' pants for $2. I'm just saying, it was some good clearance. So I walked by the cupcake area, and lo and behold, they did have something on clearance. They had cupcakes on clearance for $2 off what they normally are, which made it like $2 for a pack of 4. And I'm like, oh, I really would love a cupcake. Oh, that's too many points. And I had this mental debate with myself as I stood there, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to get them. I don't even care. I'm so frustrated. It's been such a bad day. I'm getting them. And then I, finished checking out, and I came to the car, and I proceeded to eat the frosting off all 4 cupcakes. That's right, just the frosting. I didn't eat the cupcake. I just took the frosting off and ate it. And then I stuffed the rest of the cupcake in a bag and threw it in the trash because that's all I wanted was a frosting, apparently. And it's funny because when you're an emotional eater like I am, it's the same cycle, and it's the same cycle that happens, for addicts. That you resist for so long, and then when you give in, then you feel bad about yourself. And so I'm in this part of the cycle where I'm feeling bad about myself. I feel like there are lots of podcasts where we talk about things that we're good at, and there's lots of podcasts where we talk about things that we suck at. And I've been sucking at this weight loss journey right now. And I part of me just really just wants to stop because I'm tired. It's mentally exhausting with all the other things that go on in life. I know I'm not unique in that. We all have stuff that's going on in life, and it's mentally tiring to keep going on. And so I'm feeling bad about myself, but obviously, because I made some horrible choices today that I could have made so many better choices. But I know that by getting off the journey, like, I know what happens then. I gain weight. So at least by trying, I'm staying the same weight. It's better to battle the same 5 pounds than to gain 50, right? I mean, to regain all the 50 pounds that I had just lost last year, that's clearly not the best decision. It's better to sit there and fight these 5 pounds until I get back fully into the mental game and can commit fully to losing 50 more pounds. So part of me is really disappointed, but then part of me is like, it's okay, Heidi, like, you just need to keep trudging and try again. Not try again tomorrow, try again right now. Like, feeling a little sick from the sugar, and the first thing I thought was, I should go buy a Big Mac because salty will cancel out the sweet and that'll make my stomach feel better. And then I thought, you know what, Heidi, maybe you should just have some water because the solution to all my ails is not food, right? I mean, sometimes I just need to let my body rest, like in this instance, and get over the bad choice that I made rather than shoving something else down my throat, hoping that it'll make it feel better. So that's where I am today, I guess. This feels a little bit more like a confessional than a podcast, and it feels a little weird to just be talking to myself as I drive down the road, but it's like I'm suddenly realizing why there are radio shows where they do call-ins, because how much can you really talk to yourself? I don't know how podcast people do this all the time. They just talk to themselves. They probably have like a written out agenda, which I do not have. I'm just kind of yammering on. Anyway, so really bad choices were made, but I'm going to continue trudging on. And it reminds me of just this mental exhaustion that weight loss takes. And it made me think, like, as I've been thinking about my weight loss journey and the things that are challenging about, like, what makes it so challenging to be on the weight loss journey? What is mentally exhausting? And if I can identify those, I feel like, well, maybe then I can make them easier. Maybe I can make the burden easier to bear. For me, tracking is really a burden. I don't know why. I should clarify. I know why. It's because it's one more thing that I have to do. And at the beginning, it was not a burden. But now that I'm a year into this and I'm feeling frustrated, it feels like such a burden to open up my app and track something. Maybe I'm just really lazy. I don't know. But it feels like a big burden sometimes. And so I just don't want to do it. And so I was thinking about that. I'm thinking, okay, well, how do I make tracking easier then? Because clearly I shouldn't just not track. And I decided earlier today when I was in a good frame of mind, and I think it's a good decision, so I'm going to stick with it, that I'm going to do better at meal planning. And by that I mean I meal plan. I know exactly what I'm going to eat that day. And if I'm feeling really motivated, I actually stick to my plan. But what I don't always do is I don't always write down the points like on the packages. So I may decide, I'm going to have pretzels for a snack with a little bit of, Baby Bell cheese or something. And then I have to go track it. But I'm going to count out the pretzels, write it on the bag, and then I can easily see how many points it is. And so even if I'm really bad at tracking and I forget about something, I can keep the bag to the side of my desk and then remember to track that later. Or even better yet, track it beforehand, which is what I probably should do to begin with, is track it before I eat it. When I think about the times that I was successful, it was because I was tracking before I eat it. So that's one thing that I decided to do, is that I can write down the point values of the food, like on the food themselves, because that's just less work than having to look up everything and being like, oh, what do I have allotment for today? The other thing is that I can eat more 0-point foods. I know that the turkey lunch meat that I have in my fridge is 0 points, and I know that fruit and vegetables are 0 points. So when I'm going for a snack, if I don't feel like tracking, maybe that means that I need to reach for a 0-point food rather than something with points that I have to look up. So that seems like it would ease my burden a little bit and make it a little less stressful or less emotionally tiring at a time when I'm feeling really emotionally tired of dealing with this. I also decided that the other thing that's really hard for me in the weight loss journey is exercising. I don't hate exercising. There are certain exercises that I enjoy, but I don't like to sweat. And right now in Texas, it's really hot. So taking the dog for a walk, which is something I did during the winter, is not something I want to do now because it's so hot. I do like to swim, but getting in and out of the pool and getting the kids, like it seems like a lot of work. And so I thought, there are things that I can do to move more, like in my house. I can move more in my house. I can be moving from room to room. I can clean, that's something I can always do, to just move more in general. I can skinny parking at the back of the parking lot. Even though it's hot, I'm going to have to get out in the heat anyway. It might as well be a 90-second walk rather than a 30-second walk or whatever. The other thing I decided that I'll do is in the morning when I wake up, I'm going to get into my workout clothes. And that means that I can exercise at any point during the day, preferably in the morning. But that will if that's what I'm getting into in the morning, then it makes it easier to exercise rather than thinking, to exercise I have to change clothes and put on tennis shoes and it's so much work. So just by getting dressed in the morning will probably make it easier. So those are the 3 things that I'm doing this week. I can kind of kick myself back into gear because every time I gain back those 5 pounds, I get disappointed in myself again. Talk to you guys next time. Bye.